The first thing that we figured out was that there are a lot of sort of fakers in machine learning and AI. I read probably 4 bad papers for every good paper that I read. We needed to come at this from first principles. Built the thing in a mathematically satisfying way from first principles. And then the next problem you got to do is handle the data. So we've been warehousing terabytes of data for the last several years in order to basically feed these models. And the models have to have clean data, and you have to be able to sort of warehouse the data so you can go back and reproduce things. You're producing new data every day, so you've got to put the database that and warehouse that properly. Their initial results were on the CME, but we want this to basically be scalable to all the 65 exchanges that we support trading on. And so that's a big problem too, and it's an ongoing issue, and we're getting there.
How is AI affecting your company?
So the mathematical underpinnings of machine learning are not too dissimilar from this sort of mathematical basis of options pricing or probability distributions. So what we built was essentially a way of looking at the world, a way of structuring data so that the machine or the algorithms can learn patterns in the data. And this essentially, if you want to relate it back to options-like things, has great advantages in sort of whether and when to hedge your options, and also whether and how to price your options based on the actual probability distribution versus the implied, which is actually the sort of an inversion of the price. If you look at sort of the performance of it, what we wanted to do and what we wanted to build, we set out to build something kind of that you had to be CQG to do. We didn't want to do a language model. We thought there were plenty of people doing that. We wanted to focus on time series prediction. And time series prediction is, we set out a metric of we want to be able to predict the E-mini S&P future, whether the next move is up, down, or unchanged with a high degree of accuracy. And it turns out, it took us about a year and a half, but it turns out we could do it. We regularly predict the next tick in E-mini about 80% of the time. The technology is still in the lab. We're working on productizing the technology right now. There are several stories that are user stories that are going to sort of stem from the technology. One of them is our Algo Suite. So our algos are basically organized as trees, and at the leaf node of the algo tree, there's a pay-up algo, which is whether you wait for the market to come to you or whether you cross the bid-offer spread and pay up. And with this technology, we're going to put that machine learning piece, optionally of course, into the pay-up logic, and we think that will, through our testing, we've discovered that gives you way better fills than if you didn't use the artificial intelligence or machine learning.
How does it differ from other technology?
I see it as almost an extension. So if you look at what you do on a chart, the different candles and bands and bars that you can put on a chart, that's just an ingestion of data and then some analysis done on it and some visualization. So we're going to be able to visualize machine learning sort of indicators in our CQG 1 product, or HTML5 product, and that story is also progressing as well. So it's different in that the math and the logic is more complex, but it's also sort of an extension, or maybe a natural extension of the thing. When you think about what machine learning really is, it is all about what's next. All the language models is basically a conditioned probability distribution to figure out what set of words is coming after this other set of words. And if you think about that in financial time series, there's an obvious parallel there.
How does CQG envision clients using this technology?
The algo story, get better fills. The charting story, let the machine learning give you some indication. There are several targets. I talked about the next tick or next midpoint target. There's a next bar target that's going to be specific for the charting story. But there are also other stories. We're launching a research platform where someone can use AWS compute time, use our data and some of our tools to create their own machine learning targets. And so the way that would work is, you look at a Python notebook hosted on AWS, and then you could use the CQG machine learning libraries, the CQG data sets, other data sets that you may have access to, build a model, and then you can deploy that back into our CQG 1 product for charting, algos, or you can use it to trade yourself. There's an incredible prop trading story that's developing around this, where some of the things will come back to CQG to trade, some will come back to CQG to chart, and then some will be traded outside in prop systems. So people are going to want to put this in FPGA, they're going to want to put this in their own in-house systems.
What is next for AI at CQG?
Our primary objective is getting the first production deliverable, which is the Algo product. So we're going to put those models into the Algo product, and customers can use them at their option. And we're very excited about that. The next thing is probably the charting. And then right now, models are kind of Globex specific. And so we're going to then bring them to the other exchanges. Then, once we've got sort of this tick predictor and the other exchanges, the next thing I want to do is actually very option specific, and that is to create a zero-day options trading tool. So if you think about options, they don't have to be zero-day, but short-term, many times the prices of the option are more reflective of the market maker's aggregate position than they are of the actual probability distribution that's going to sort of evolve over the day or the very short time period. So we're going to try to offer a set of analytics that really let the user delve into the options prices as they are, as compared to what they maybe could be or should be with the probability distribution as it exists at this moment and as we predict it forward up to maybe a day. Generally speaking, all of our targets are kind of very small. Next move, next microstructure, next 1 second bar. This time next year, I hope that I can take that time horizon of predictive power and stretch it out a little bit. And I believe you can. You just have to make the proper constructions of the data in order to let the algorithm learn.